Hello, and welcome to Sprangboro Sessions, episode number 50, the anniversary edition. This is Jamie, aka Sprangboro, and alongside we have several really great guys. We have TJ Otto, he's up hanging out with Perseverance. We have Ty Bigger, and we have Mr. Jerry Jasper, everybody. And together
Hello.
with our voices combined, we are Sprangboro Sessions. Sessions.
Woo!
Hello,
Real
guys.
session.
How are we all
What's up?
doing?
Good man, you.
I'm doing
Doing
well.
good.
Doing real well. It's been a little while since I've got to see your guys' pretty faces. So,
Oh, yeah.
what's new and exciting there, Jerry Jasper?
Uh, Chicago Bulls.
The Bulls.
Bulls finally have some quality management in place. They dumped the old GM and got one that actually knows what the hell he's doing. And they completely are restructuring the team, making some moves, and I couldn't be happier, man.
Heck yeah.
Combine that with the young talent of the Blackhawks that, next couple of years, the United Center where they both play, also known as the Madhouse on Madison, looks like it's gonna be rocking in the next couple of years again, which
Yeah.
that's a good thing, man. It's a very good thing. When winter comes around, dude, it's not fun. It ain't fun, man. Especially when you got a Bears team that's absolutely. I don't even want to talk about it, man. They're in purgatory right now, man. So I need some good sports, and I couldn't be happier, man. Bulls made some huge moves, dude. And like I said, it's been a long time coming. They've been just mediocre for way too long, dude. So I'm pumped.
Hell yeah! I know the Blackhawks didn't they just like go? They went through was it a coach? They changed their coach or head coach or something like that.
Yeah, a couple years ago, yeah, they let Quenville go. I think he's coaching down in Florida now, and they got Colleton, which is a very young guy. I wasn't sold on him at first, but now it looks like the guy knows what he's doing.
I know that the Buffalo Sabres are they are in the doghouse when it comes to hockey right now. They are the worst team in the league as of current. They were on like a 9 or a 10 game losing streak and stuff. And the reason why I bring them up is because they said that they fired their head coach, and they brought in a new coach who was one of the coaches or something for the Blackhawks.
Oh,
So
really?
I'm
Oh,
not
cool.
sure which one it was, but I know that it just said, the feed at the top of the news said Blackhawks former something now coach of the Buffalo Sabres. But
Oh,
there's a guy where I work. He's a diehard Sabres fan, and all season long he's just been walking around like with his head down. And I see him. He's like, "Well, we're consistent, we just continue to do bad." Um, I know Pittsburgh. We watched them play last night against. Oh hell, I don't even remember. It didn't matter. The Islanders, and they won 6-3. Pittsburgh. Jari did real good in the net. It's nice to see him looking a lot more comfortable. He had some pretty big saves. Then there's my Vegas Golden Knights. They're doing well. They're in the top three currently, but they've also played a few a few less games than some of the other ones with higher points. But they played, and Max Pacioretty got a hell of a slamming in OT and took the win over the Avalanche. And Avalanche beat them the other day too, like quite a bit. So then Vegas has come back and they've done pretty well against them, um, which is really good, to see. The one guy at work who's a diehard Bruins fan, he just walks by. He's like, "Don't touch me, don't touch me. Bruins got the COVID. Bruins got the COVID."
Uh,
he says I'm a diehard fan and I don't know what's in my blood, so I don't want to get you sick. Uh, it was pretty funny. But yeah, so that's
That's
pretty
pretty
much
good.
the latest in hockey to my knowledge. Kraken, next season. That's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out. I'm excited to, see more history in hockey being made. So I can relate to the basketball thing. I don't really follow it as much, but I know how excited I get. And when you live in Chicago, basically, so for you, I'm 2.5 hours away from Pittsburgh, you know, so I'm not surrounded by it all day long. In a way, when you're actually in the city, everywhere you go, I'm sure Boston, it's all about Bruins and the Celtics and all that stuff as well. When I lived in Orlando, there was the Magic, and they were trying to give tickets away, and nobody would go watch them at all. Like they'd be like, "No, man." That went back to that old joke. Somebody broke in my car. I had two Orlando Magic tickets on my driver's seat, and they left theirs, so now I have four. Um, yeah, yeah. And then there was like a big raid at some prostitute house or something, including a bunch of the members of the Orlando Magic at that time. I'm like, yeah, this is going real well. So it's good to see, something, exciting the people, exciting the town, exciting the crowd. Uh,
Well, we've even got some excitement in college basketball, man. Loyola, I know they lost yesterday, but they've done very well in the last two NCAA tournaments, which is really cool to see. Chicago wasn't on the map for a long time in terms of college basketball. But I remember back in the day, man, when I was younger, Chicago college ball was a big deal, dude. You had DePaul and Loyola were both really, really good programs, and they just kind of just disappeared off the map, which is sad because the city of Chicago has so many good freaking basketball players that grow up in the city. They go play somewhere else. It's like, dude, like you don't have to go and look too far for the talent, man. It's like right in your backyard. Um, so that's cool. It's cool to see, man. That coach from Loyola, he's been doing it without all-star guys. They've been winning without having the all pro guys that are going to go into the NBA. So hopefully that will encourage people to start not leaving Chicago and staying in here, and we get these programs running again, man. That'd be awesome. It'd be cool to see. 'Cause
um,
to
Heck
me,
yeah.
it's like Chicago's a great city, man. I mean, of course I'm you know I'm gonna have a bias because I live here, but I've traveled a lot. I've been to other cities. It ain't no place like home, man. Chicago's great, dude. You talk to athletes that they'll say that one of their favorite cities to if they play for a different team, one of their favorite cities to come to is to play in Chicago. So it's cool to see, man. It's really cool to see.
Now, Ty, I know you're not too far from Chicago. Do you go and watch any, like, do you have any desire to go watch any sports games or anything?
Growing up on the farm, we would normally only watch like the Super Bowl because like we were busy working and doing everything else. Dad was into a little bit of football, but like Super Bowl, like that's about the only thing we really watched. Other than that, we didn't get too much into sports. Collected some baseball cards growing up. Used to eat
Nice.
Twizzlers to get my Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa cards and all that stuff. uh, but other than that, I've never been too into following sports or anything like that. I've had other passions and desires and stuff like that. A lot of mine pertain to like hunting and stuff like that because that was something that I was doing. Like it was, we didn't really have a whole lot of channels on the TV, so I just grabbed the old 22 and roll on out to the timber. Take my hatchet out there and just go cut some trees down, build a fort, something like that.
Do some bull
That was my
wrestling.
pastime. Yeah, a little bull wrestling. Yeah. Oh
uh,
man.
that's awesome.
Jamie,
Yeah, we got some.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we got some young new bulls there on the farm a month or two ago, and just about every day they have to figure out who the boss is that day, and it's just fun. You'll be sitting there feeding them, and you'll see them just lock heads, and it's absolutely incredible to sit there and watch two like 2,400-pound animals of just solid muscle just go at it. You feel scared for anything around them because anything around them is like a pop can. soon as they hit it, it just crunches. Concrete, steel, don't matter. Like they break. They're pretty aggressive, but they're fun. They're young.
Awesome.
There's a saying that goes with that. I don't know if it's podcast appropriate though. So
Well, you might as well say it.
so if you don't want to hear it, mute your mic in 3, 2, 1. Young, dumb, and full of cum. That's the one right there. They don't know what's going on. They smell the ladies around and they just want to. They're ready to show what they got. Their job. That's what it is. What it is about breeding animals like that, you know. I mean, that's them doing their job.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a rooster and you want some more baby chickens, you better hope that rooster's doing his job. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a good old bulls.
So
Part of
TJ,
life.
what's up, TJ?
How you doing, man?
I'm okay.
Yep. Not much going on.
Just on the moon, no big deal.
Just
Yeah,
hanging
you know,
out.
just chilling out, just waiting patiently for stocks to get here.
Big stocks.
So what to get there?
They're gonna land somewhere over here, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, they said
is it?
on
Just waiting patiently.
that the big theory has been that all of the water from Mars has went into space, and they have new studies that say that is inaccurate, and that the water is trapped in the minerals in the core of Mars. Yeah. Apparently, when you do one search on your Google for
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
anything, you know how it always brings it back in retrospect. So mine looks something like Vegas Golden Knights, Rocket League, Perseverance, Bootsy Collins or whatever bass player of the day, Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine, and then it'll have some stupid shit about some stupid something. I'm like, what the hell? This has nothing to do with anything I've searched for. Get out of my feed. Get out of my feed. It says, does impotency got you down? Screw you, buddy. Of course,
Google's being
says
bold.
ad. It says ad underneath it. I don't know if that counts. Shit.
We had a huge spike in cases here, so they're thinking that we might actually go back to remote at schools.
Oh, damn.
No good.
Well,
Cape Cod's gone into the red.
that's no good.
I got my shot though.
Heck
Oh, yeah.
On my first shot. My first one. I've got to go get my second one still.
Did you get
I
the
didn't know which
Pfizer or
one.
the Moderna?
Pfizer.
Oh, yeah. The OG. Yeah, well, 50 episodes ago, although it's been, 52 weeks, we were sitting here trying to figure out what the hell life was going to throw at us for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we figured it out real quick, didn't we, boys?
Yeah.
Whole lot of effery, that's what it was. But, yeah, here we are, still locked down. What is it, the anniversary of the what? What'd you say?
The 1 year anniversary of the 2 week lockdown.
To flatten the curve. Yes. And here we are talking about wrestling, bulls, perseverance, and bulls. It's good conversation,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Last weekend we were gonna jam, and then I told TJ because he had messaged me earlier that day, and he's like, "Hey, I got some stuff going on. I'm not gonna be able to make it today." I was like, "All right," and I went to do a recording for a friend of mine's dad. We were gonna play and do a Facebook Live, so we all got together and we sat there and we tried it twice. And we played. I'm like, dude, there's no way that this shit's working. I'm like looking at the megabytes per second. It ain't doing nothing. I'm like, oh well, just keep playing the song. It's good practice. And yeah, so we played for probably a good hour or two, or probably about an hour. And I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna make the cast. And we were trying to figure out what the hell was going on with the the Facebook, and then Jerry, he's like, well, my nephew turned the Wi-Fi off because he was streaming his video game. He didn't know that we were going to be coming over and streaming today. Like,
Hmm.
well, there's that. Which was actually which was okay because last weekend my refrigerator died, and my wife went out of town for the weekend, and I was sitting there on Friday, and it was like Thursday actually, and I got an ice cream cone out of the freezer, ate it, and when I chewed into it, like the outer crust, it was good, It was like the chocolate dipped ice cream cone.
Maybe some nuts on
So
top.
when I bit into it, it was like the ice cream inside was just kind of a little melted. Whatever, shit happens. And then the next day, I went to make something and I grabbed the milk and I'm like, this don't seem right. And then I'm looking at the numbers on the fridge and where it has like the 3 or the 4 or what the 5, 6, whatever. They were both hashes for the fridge and the freezer. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, well, this ain't no good. So we get the ice cream out that I bought that day. It was Friday. I bought lasagna for the kid. I bought ice cream and I bought pepperoni rolls or pizza rolls. And when it was like a couple hours later that we got the ice cream out and it was all completely melted.
Oh,
I'm like,
Oh,
oh.
I didn't pay attention.
We
I scooped it out. I put it in the bowl. The kid was happy as a lark. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So I look at I had a thermometer in the back of the fridge. And I looked at it, it said like 60 degrees in the fridge. I'm like, dude, this fridge
Okay.
is not working. I'm like, son of a bitch. So I'm also decided that weekend that while the wife was out of town, I was going to paint our bedroom. So we had 2 nights to get everything taped off and the whole wallpaper finished scraping off, just everything, and get it painted. And so I'm dealing with the fridge not working. I'm dealing with the fucking having to paint for 2 nights. And I'm just like trying to be positive to get the paint done because I was, got to hang out with my daughter and we got to do it together. And I got to show her some cool tricks and stuff that I've learned along the way. And she was just such a big
yeah.
help. And yeah, so the wife comes home on Sunday and we've got a stream that's not working. I'm like, oh my God, what a fucking weekend. Oh, Jesus. I'm like, yeah, well, I guess if that's at this point, we might as well just record the week after. I had so much going on. And wife came home Sunday and we talked about everything. And, we went Monday and she was able to find a really good deal on one at a local appliance store, a place that actually had fridges locally and didn't
Yeah.
have to wait for 3 weeks to get one. So we got a new fridge and it's bigger. It sucks having to spend money, but that's the way it goes. Like you said, you just start to get to a point where you're saving up the money. You get to everything where you're feeling pretty comfortable or even remotely close, and then bam, shit hits you like a ton of bricks, and you got car problems, you got house problems, you got whatever
Oh,
problems. It
man.
just catches up to you. But that's life, and that's what makes it more interesting. So
Oh, yeah.
needless to say, we just we got a new fridge, and yeah, it's been a pretty good week since. I'd say just been kind of hanging out and doing the usual.
Yeah.
Been staying consistent on my workouts and stretches and all kinds of stuff. I've gone down the rabbit hole with a video that Jerry was kind enough to put together for me, a program, and it's awesome. Um,
Heck yeah.
Nice.
I could see that it's a lot of work involved, and a lot of people wouldn't realize how much work is involved in doing something like that until you actually see it in front of your face, what a product becomes. So kudos to you, sir. You want to elaborate on that a little bit, on how you structure those and your thought process whenever you're making something like that.
Yeah, it really comes down to what what is what is personal training and what is just giving people fitness advice. There's a huge difference between it, which is why there's a huge difference in price that you pay for it. Um, Fitness advice is, hey, I know some exercises that generally work for a specific, for a certain instance, and I'm just going to tell people to do those specific things, or to do those general exercises. That's the type of stuff that you can find anywhere on the internet. And that doesn't just apply to personal training. I'm sure it applies to a bunch of other things as well too. You can find general advice on, what to eat. You can find general advice on anything, but everybody's different. Everybody's body moves differently, just as everybody has a different metabolism, which is why you shouldn't just go off of like the new diet. It might work for 10 people, but that same advice might not work for 50 people. So the thought process with you is, you had a specific uh, issue that you were dealing with, tightness in your low back. So I created a program that, using what you had available, which most of that stuff is body weight stuff. I think I put maybe a couple band exercises in there. I don't remember.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, it's catering to exactly what you need, what you're experiencing, and what you have available to you. So from there, um, and create a program that will work for you, given what you're dealing with and given what you have. So the thought process behind um, the exercise that are chosen were just simply to get your body better at transferring forces from the ground up. So transferring forces through your feet, through your knees, and through your hips. Um, in general, if those things are addressed in those critical points in the human movement system, if those critical points are optimal, then chances are you're not going to be having that low back pressure. That's not to say that it's going to cure it, but that'll let me know right away. Hey, if you're consistently doing these exercises and you're seeing some benefit, you're not feeling what you felt before. That tells me like, hey, awesome. It was probably something in your feet. You probably had some tightness in your feet or your ankles, or you had probably had some tightness in your hips. As soon as we alleviated that tightness in those areas, you don't see the pain anymore. Awesome. Like continue to do those things because number one, it's already showing benefit, but number two, the better you are in those critical areas, the less chance you're going to have of pain and soreness across your entire body. So um, that was the thought process behind it, and I'm glad you're using it. And I can't stress it enough, man. There's
Mm-hmm.
there's fitness coaches out there, and there's personal training coaches. Think of we talk about sports. Think of the guys that are on the sidelines for sports that are trainers. You know, are they just going to have the same exact program that they're going to have every single athlete do? Like, no, they're going to be specific to every single athlete. Like, hey, this athlete typically has knee problems. Awesome. We're gonna make sure that this dude is doing programs that are going to make sure that his or her knees are always in good position for the sport that they're playing, because different sports have different requirements of the human movement system too. You got some sports where there's a lot of rotational. So, baseball being one of them, golf being another one, where the torso has to rotate, transfer forces from the ground up, and be able to transfer that through rotation, whether it be hitting a ball. Tennis would be another one. Golf would be another one. So a trainer that is coaching or training somebody in tennis is not going to use the same program for somebody that is a volleyball player, for instance, where it's a lot of jumping and it's a lot of forward motion. Obviously there's a lot of left and right, but there's not a lot of rotation that goes with it. So a fitness coach would be somebody that wouldn't be able to program properly specific to a sports to a specific sport. They'll just tell you, hey, just do a bunch of sit-ups and you're going to have better abs. It's like, well, what the hell does that do for my movement? Why do I need that? Um, Versus, like I said, a trainer is gonna know exactly what you're dealing with on a daily basis. Oh, and that's the other thing too. I was just going under the assumption that with your job you're on your feet a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and with podcasting you're on the computer a lot. most people, it's that same scenario in life where they're on their feet for most of the day at their job, and then after that they're sitting down in a seated position for the rest of their day, whether watching TV. Yeah, there you go, ties. Yeah, it's a majority of Americans, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
that's yeah, you got somebody hiding back there. I love it. Um, yeah, so a lot of that programming too was to help alleviate that scenario that you deal with on a daily basis. So that way, not only are you feeling less pain in the low back, but movement throughout your everyday life should improve. And really, like that's the beauty of it. If you have a great trainer and they know what the hell they're doing, you should feel a huge difference in the quality of your life, whether it be
It's like your body
easier.
finds the balance.
Yeah.
Because that's
That
what I
makes
told
Yeah.
sense.
no matter what, as long as your body one way or another finds the balance in something and some type of emotion or movement. So, like you said, it could be this area here is hurting, but if you're compensating it in this area, then you're going to develop the problem here, but it's actually up here. So your body has to try and equal it out to everybody and make everything work together, but find what works out, whether it's 25% here, 45% here, and so on and so on. Your body just has to find the balance. Since I started working out at the beginning of March, I definitely have been feeling a lot, more stretched out. My back doesn't hurt as much as it was. I knew that I had to change something when one morning I stretched in my car and I threw my back out. And I barely did anything. I just like leaned back and kind of did one of those little, here we go thing, and like my back
Oh,
hurt. My back hurt all day, and like part of the next one, but I'm like, dude, I really need to do something. So I've been trying to do a lot more stretch. The penny on her forehead, I got it.
Mhm.
Look at that though. Uh, uh,
No. Ah!
Gold Knights. Oh yeah. Um, um, but yeah, this kid's got me all distracted.
Yeah, that's
you're
what I was
stretching out in your car.
Oh yeah, and I hurt my
Back up.
back, so I knew I had to change. I really had to make a difference, and this last month it's definitely been a challenging month for me, but it's been very rewarding. I've been using my bands a lot. I never thought I would use resistance bands in my life, let alone as much as I have been, but they are so convenient for me, you know, because you can just attach them to just about anything, and you can put as much, a bunch of resistance on if you want. This kid.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, best is they don't cost a lot of money either.
Hmm.
You can invest in a set of dumbbells and you're spending thousands of dollars, man. Like
Yeah.
versus resistance band, you're spending $10, $15 for a really good set of them.
Yeah,
Resistance
it's
training
wild.
is really good too. That was probably one of my favorite workouts when I was going to the gym all the time. Was like just doing a lot of stuff where it's more resistance than just heavy weight. You know what I mean? Because when you're resisting it, rather if you're just gonna do like flies or whatever, instead of just sitting here pumping them out, you go up and then come down nice and slow. But like doing it with so many different workouts. That was just one example, but coming down really slow, resisting it instead of just letting it drop and then having to shove it back up again. I always enjoyed that and felt like I got the best workout from that type of stuff. And I did do a fair amount of bands, but not to the extent that you guys are talking about. And that sounds like it's a really nice thing.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, you don't want to be using momentum to your point there. Momentum is opportunity to get yourself injured. So yeah, controlling it for anybody that's out there that does strength training, control, control,
Control.
control. Like don't
Control.
don't follow the people that are trying to do all the crazy shit and it looks cool, but opens up
Hurt
opportunity.
yourself.
Yeah, it opens up opportunity for injury for sure. And your injury typically doesn't happen when you're starting a movement. It's when you're trying to finish the movement. So to your point, Ty, the injury is not going to happen when you start, but it's actually going to be happen on the way back down when you're trying to catch it.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
when you jump, you don't injure yourself on the takeoff. You injure yourself on the landing.
That's a
So
really good example.
yeah, so good for you. I'm glad that you know that.
Well, yeah, that was That was the best thing I did when I was working out, is just learning proper form and control and all that stuff. That's how you properly work out and get the best stuff. My wife actually, after we went through our whole spell with having all the kids and everything, she started going back to the gym. She's on day 12, I believe, but she's been going every
Nice.
day but Sunday. So yeah, she's been really enjoying it. Here one of these days, real soon, I'm gonna start again, but like I said, with work picking back up, man, we've been trenching like crazy, and that's me running a shovel for like 6 to 8 hours a day. Sand's easy digging. You get into wet black soil, and that's not as much fun. And then you
Oh
get
yeah.
the dark soil with the clay combination, and wow, yeah, a lot of fresh rain on top of it because it's spring. Yeah, that's
Well,
that lower back
that
tightness and stuff. I've been
you got
stretching
that
a lot just to help.
you got that farm strong, man.
Yeah.
The programming that I gave Jamie, a lot of that comes from one of the certifications that I have, and they are true believers. And if you want a resilient body, you should be farm strong. You should be doing the stuff that people would be doing working on a farm. Not
Yeah.
they're not doing cleans and snatches and all the crazy CrossFit stuff. They're doing stuff that like really needs functional movement in the body and transferring forces properly. So yeah, I'm all about that farm strong, man. That's good shit right there.
When I was traveling the country, setting up horse stalls and living that life, I remember that I found it very weird. Like you always see you always hear about things like farm strong and things like that. And what you realize is it's not a hard movement or it's not a hard something that someone's normally doing. It's just they're doing it so much and so many times consistently. Like when I first started, I remember waking up pretty much like we would be outside for 10 hours, 12 hours or whatever. After driving somewhere, we'd be there for hours just working, and you'd be so exhausted. And it didn't matter; you just had to get it done. You just went with it. But everything was very, very structured and very. Really gonna run there right now?
Oh, what? Sorry.
I love you. I'll start it when I'm done.
Oh,
That's on normal pots and pans, right?
It's on normal.
All right,
Normal
cool.
wash.
Got it. But I remember waking up like the next mornings, and to, Bob, one of the buddies I worked with, would grab my wrists and he'd stretch my arms out because I could not move them when I first started working outside all the time, doing all that hard ass work, all day every day. So like the first week or so was just stretching it out because you had to get some type of motion. You're just sitting there hurting and you're just looking down at your arms and you're like that little thing with the stick, like do something. Do something, yeah. And it's like I can't do nothing. And I remember, one of the things that I started doing all the time was taking the like a 3 pound sledgehammer or 4 pound sledgehammer, or whatever, and smacking 2 foot by an inch and a half round or 2 inch round stakes in the ground for the big tents and stuff. And you don't think about it. You just smack it once, But yeah, when you start smacking it, it takes 50, 60 to 100 times sometimes, just to get one in because the ground is so hard or whatever. And then you do it so much you don't realize it until after a while. You're like, holy shit! Like, your body's so much stronger because you can just feel like the difference in your form or the way you stand or the way you talk or just everything is weird the way your body makes you feel that, just besides the soreness. But I remember this one time we set the steak and I went to it's calm, it's very controlled, you're not sitting there just being retarded or being crazy about it, or anything.
Yeah.
That's not what I meant. But so it's very controlled and just very structured, and you just take a breath or however some people do
Oh
it.
yeah.
And then when you do it so many times and you're in so much hard ground, and then you go to this place where it's really soft, and you're like, tap, and the steak goes
Just
down the ground. You just look around, you're like, oh crap, that one ain't coming back out. And
That one is permanent.
they all used to pick on me because I was the small guy and stuff like that. But after doing it for a while, I looked at one of our supervisors one day, and he's like, "Well, look at you, Nacho." He says, "You got some tone to you." I'm like, "What?" He says, "Look at you." He says, "You got some muscle." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah." Okay. And he's like, "No." He says, "It's funny." He says, "I could tell just the way the sun's hitting you." I was like, "I'm reflecting off this sunshiny roof." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "So, do you want to have sex with me or what?" And he says, "Shut up." That was good times.
Oh yeah.
Every time Bob would burp or whatever, he was like, dick. So it became like this joke, people whenever they'd burp, they'd be like, dick. So then we're up working up in New York, up in Long Island, and that same supervisor, Britt, he's sitting there, he's drinking his chocolate milk, and we're all so tired after a long day of working outside. We were sitting there making dinner. There was like 8 of us or something, and he's sitting there. He takes a drink of the chocolate milk, and he's like, "Man, that's good." And I was like, "Does it taste like dick?" he fuck. he looked at me and he kicked me in the ass so hard, and I was like, "Holy shit! I'm surprised you can get that fake hip to move." He kicked me again. I was like, "Holy shit!" He was an awesome dude. We definitely the job sucked, man. It was very hard, but it was probably the most fun I ever had in a job, just because of the camaraderie. You're so many different people from so many different walks of life or whatever, but you're there for the one purpose, to get it done and get it done fast, and uh, before you know it, the only friends you got are the guys you work with. Before you know it, the only people you talk to is the people you work with. And then when you're gone all the time, on top of that, you're gone for weeks at a time, and you come home and you're like, okay, so you get home, 11 o'clock at night, you get home, you get in your bed, you're finally excited, and then the next afternoon, the boss calls, he says, "Well, we're leaving in 45 minutes." You're like, fuck. Okay. So we always had our bags packed. That was crazy, man. But the moral of that rabbit hole was just it's the farm thing, and just anything like that, like the trenching. Taking a shovel one time and pop it's not hard to do. But when you do it consistently and consistently for hours and hours and hours and hours a day, like, that's what really does it. It's crazy. It's
Oh, yeah, and especially
crazy.
after going on like a month break from work, because February was very slow at work, and then I got COVID, and so from just like going from a whole bunch of hard work, a whole bunch of sitting, and just being stuck at home. I was doing a bunch of township stuff too, but that's again sitting, like running equipment. So not as much physical labor. That's what I love about spring, summer, and fall. It's pretty physical labor, and I get back in shape real quick. Just for mushroom season, which is just around the corner. That is my favorite time of the year, because that is when I literally take every free moment I have, and I'm spending it in the woods, just hiking, picking mushrooms. I love that. It's gonna be coming up here in like a month.
That's
Heck
awesome.
yeah.
Good. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man, I love
All
it.
about them mushrooms.
That's a big deal, man. I see it. They have it in the newspaper. They have a section in the newspaper for like hunting and outdoor stuff. So like when it's like fishing season, they'll show people that have caught a huge fish locally. And yeah, when you were talking about that time when the mushrooms were big, they were putting a lot of pictures out there of what was it, the morel
Morel
what kind of,
mushrooms. Yep.
yeah, morel mushrooms. Yeah, I saw a lot of when you were saying that, dude. I was noticing that a lot of people were sending in pictures of just big ass ones that they found, man. It's really cool. So
I
it's big, man. It's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I normally get like $35 a pound, depending on who you're selling them to and how bad they want them and how bad, or if they can get a hold of them, because they only come around that one time a year, and you got to go out there and risk getting Lyme disease on top of poison ivy and snakes and just tons of hiking. And you might hike for half a day and not find any, or you might hike for 15 minutes and fill 3 Walmart sacks. Like it all depends on where you're going, if they even popped up there that year. It's pretty fun. Like, it's one of my biggest passions. Along there with like ginseng hunting. Ginseng is in the fall. Mushrooms are in spring. So not that.
It's awesome.
Trying to pull up video from last year. Yeah, it's by far one of my favorite things to do.
Oh yeah,
we got
man.
the ground
Get
to
out in
do it
nature,
on.
dude. Shit. Ain't nothing better.
It's like going out on
heck
a
yeah.
treasure hunt. It's fun. It's
It
getting
really
out,
is because it's money.
breathing that good old air. Being away from everything and everyone. I do that shit when I'm out back raking leaves,
Oh
which
heck
I'm
yeah.
not happy about. But
Well, that's
Or shoveling,
I try to make it.
or shoveling that dog poop.
oh yeah,
That Dane
See,
poop.
I bought some blades for my mower that are a little bit more expensive, and I bought a new mower last fall, and they have these gator blades on them that just shred whatever material goes through that deck. I mean, just shreds it and makes it to where it breaks down and goes back into the ground a lot easier, instead of just blowing away. And yeah, that's why I plan on doing it leaves. It's getting to the point like I'm almost half tempted this afternoon to even go running out there, but my neighbors would probably start running me down with shotguns. They see me out here mowing the yard. Just as the first person mows the yard out here in the country, everybody's mowing their yard. And my neighbor's normally first, and I know he mowed his last fall though.
That's
and I didn't
adult
mow
peer
mine
pressure.
Yeah, very dad-like conversation we're having here. Hey Jerry, that's what I was trying to find. There's a picture of a gray I found last year.
Nice.
So
Very
yeah,
nice.
I love going mushroom hunting. I got videos of just like standing on hillsides, and there's just mushrooms everywhere. I mean, I doubt you can probably see them.
Oh, yeah.
You can see some of them,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean they're just spread all along this hill. Any little yellow spot you see is basically mushrooms, and yeah, that's not really
That's
into
awesome.
it. So yeah, only part that's not fun is that all the people that don't own property come to our private property where we've like ran people off a lot and had to call the cops for trespassing, and they come and they'll try to pick all the mushrooms before I get there. And
Oh, sure.
yeah, there's lots of public land to go on like that away, but the mushrooms really grow over here. So everybody always comes and has their buddies drop them off. Then they walk through the timber, and I gotta end up running into them and having a little conversation and taking a little cell phone video that I can use as evidence. Come back twice, get turned into the police. First time's a warning. Third time, you never go back.
Yeah, you gotta get a lion like on Grandma's Boy, dude. They come in and come to your property. The king of the jungle staring at him.
King of the jungle.
he says like a dolphin, and he says, "Where do you get your weed from? You, Dante." Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. What's up, Mr.
Yeah.
Cheezel?
What's up, Mr. Cheezel? One of my most favorite movies of all time, hands down.
Yeah,
Grandma's Boy.
Dante's great.
Underrated.
Dante's great in that.
The first scene in it, he throws that water bottle where he says, "Oh, was that the expensive piece?"
Yeah.
Drive, monkey, drive! I'm way too big to drive you to the devil's house. Monkey, you got skills. Oh god,
Mr. Lee Ho.
Oh, watch that movie so many. Who wants to take on the green bush? Yeah, watch so that movie so many times. We used to just hang out, get drunk, and watch that movie and just laugh continuously.
That's a good one. Hey Jamie, I did a little research here, a little sidebar. Granado is the new Buffalo Sabres head coach. I guess he's the interim coach. He was the assistant coach for him. They promoted him to interim head coach
Hmm.
after they fired the last guy. Yeah, he was a Chicago Blackhawks assistant.
Assistant. Okay.
Fun fact, he's a native of Downers Grove, Illinois. Downers Grove was the town over from where I used to live, where you've been to my place, my
Hmm.
old place back
Right.
in the day. So you've actually been one town over from where that new head coach was from.
Hmm. Yeah, because
Pretty,
where
pretty
was I
cool.
staying? Was that Hoffman Estates? I think it's where I stayed at the first time. Where my buddy Mickey lives.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Does that
somewhere in the
sound
city
right?
there.
Hoffman Estates. Is that the one that
Yeah.
was close
Oh
to?
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where he
Yeah,
lived.
yeah. So I was in Willowbrook.
Willowbrook. I do
When
remember
you
that.
when you came to see me, and Downers Grove is like one or two towns over from Willowbrook. Actually, one of my good buddies lives in Downers Grove. Nice area.
Hmm. Yep. So he's the
Sounds
new
familiar.
Sabres coach, huh?
Hmm.
Dude,
That's
after their
cool.
current streak, man, they'd about do anything. I get it, but it says that he came with a lot of experience and he can bring a lot to the table. So hey, um, hopefully you can see it them turn around. Just because you don't want to see anybody lose like that all the time, except for the Patriots. But that's neither here nor there. Um,
Well, you want to see teams be competitive, man.
right, you want
Nobody
to watch a
watches
good
sports to
game.
see yeah, nobody watches sports to see crappy play, man. That kind of sucks.
No, you
That's
want
that's what
you.
that's why I watch New England sports.
Mhm. Been good for a little bit there.
Not
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, Bruins aren't too bad. Nothing spectacular, but
Bruins, they've always been a pretty dominant team, Then they play other teams like us, but
playing the Penguins again on Thursday.
is it Thursday? Hmm.
Yeah, Devils tonight and Tuesday.
Oh, it is.
That's awesome. Um, I should probably see when Vegas is playing next. I'm working second shift this week, so I'm gonna
Oh,
be like, when you guys were like, let's do it at noon. I'm like, okay, well then I have all night to do nothing. Except for work out and practice my bass, hoorah, or whatever they call
There
it.
you go.
Because that's what I'll be doing since I've been doing it in the mornings, when I wake up, on the weekends. But
Yeah, I'll be slinging pizzas tonight.
oh yeah, slinging that
Heck yeah.
pie.
Mm-hmm.
So is that
No.
that second job you were talking about, TJ?
Yeah, start tonight.
Heck yeah, man.
It'll be a couple days a week.
There you go, man.
Something keep you busy.
Yeah, I gotta put away some money. Get that all taken care of, and
Yeah, to get that sex bot 5,000. I know that's won't be cheap.
the super sucker.
with the self cleaning mode. Yeah.
That's a fancy one there.
What people get
Self-cleaning
stimulus checks? They might as well get stimulated too.
Hey,
I
they
guess.
called it a stimulus check for a reason.
Oh, so
Yeah.
crazy! I seen somebody.
Has
put
everybody
up a-
received theirs, by the way?
Yes.
Have you guys all got yours?
Hmm.
I have not yet received mine, so
Oh,
a little surprised about that.
Did you go through H&R Block or one of them?
We went through I don't know, we just had our account ready to go, just like it was last time, and they just haven't sent us the money yet. So
Well,
kind of
where
surprised
did
about
you
that.
file your? Did you do it yourself, or did you do it at a like Tax Act or one of them online things?
We went to a lawyer, like talking about just filing our taxes in general.
Correct.
Or,
Correct.
yeah, we went to a lawyer up in Monmouth that we always go to,
I
and he
gotcha.
just talked to us about it. He's like, "Yeah, you guys should be getting that sometime soon." And I know a couple people around here who haven't got theirs yet. So me and my
same
brothers
here.
have not received them yet.
Yeah. The only reason I asked is because a lot of people that file with like H&R Block and a couple other places like that, that from what I heard is that the money was sent to basically H&R Block, and H&R Block had to distribute it or send it back to have it resent out or something like that because of just the way that it all worked out. It was incorrect. I didn't go down that rabbit hole too much, so that's just what somebody that had told me at work that filed through H&R Block, who did not receive their money. Like the wife and I, we've been using freetaxusa.com for like 10 years or something. And as soon as we get our stuff in, we send it in. We always have just got it done really fast. One of my friends, you know, he went through H&R Block and stuff, and he said he still hasn't gotten his second stimulus, his third stimulus, or his income taxes back that he filed already this year.
Dang, that's pretty rough.
But that might have changed in the last few days. I haven't talked to him. But
We got our first one, I remember. I mean, that's
IRS is a little bit backed up too.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
They with that stimulus, IRS is definitely backed up because they had like some changes. So people that have already filed their taxes, they need to go back and make changes to that. So like one of them, for instance, unemployment insurance. If you got unemployment, part of the stimulus was that I think the first $10,200 of income from unemployment insurance is now considered not taxable. So, you know, people that have already filed their taxes, they need to go back and adjust for all of that, which, you know, how many millions of people were, you know, are on unemployment insurance. So they're going back and readjusting all that. That's actually why mine's tied up right now. My tax return is tied up. So not surprised to hear that.
That makes
you know,
sense. That would make sense.
Yeah, they got their hands full right now.
Yeah, I wish I would have known about that there because I definitely remember my lawyer not bringing that up, and I received a little bit more than that, like around that number bracket for my unemployment when I got unemployed from the college. So, and he took the other tie, hit the guy who worked at the college with me, who also got laid off, was named Ty B. I'm not gonna say his last name, and I'm Ty Bigger. And he took his unemployment information and put it in with my taxes, and then called me back like the next day and was like, "Hey, we need to come and like refile your taxes. You actually owe, you know, like blah blah, like is like an extra $300 or something like that." Because I was on it for a month or two longer than the other Ty was. He got the call back first, but I ended up saying no thank you when they gave me my call back because I really like what I'm doing now a lot more than what I was doing then. And I'm in a lot better shape now than when I was working there because I get to actually work a lot more, which is what I've always done. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, that's like I said, we got a really busy summer coming up. Got like 3 grain bin sites and a couple really big shops, and I'm actually about to go I have to do like some studying and take some classes to get a certification to be a generator mechanic. And as soon as I get that, then my brother's going to give me my own service truck, and I'm going to basically be our main generator maintenance and service guy for Bigger Electric, which is going to be really cool because he just got his Kohler generator license, and he's got a guy up in one of the big towns next to us that's already sold like 50 of them, which is insane because that's like 50 that we have to install. So I mean, they go pretty quick, but at the same time, holy cow. Like all it is they bring all the main stuff to us and we just like set them up, hook them up, do all that stuff. I like it. Yeah, it's really fun, except for when you're trenching and you know there's gas lines around.
Yeah.
And the trencher starts hitting something really hard and like jumping and bucking, and you're talking like a 2000 machines just getting like thrown up, like bounced, like dribbled like a ball. You get a little bit nervous when you see that happen, and then it's like, oh, it's just a 3-inch thick piece of concrete that's 10 feet long that we hit underground, not a gas line, because we get everything Julie. We are 100% legitimate, official, all that stuff. But Julie's more often than not do not mark every gas line there, and I've had a serious issue with that. It's like, call before you dig. It's like, hey, how about you mark your actual gas lines? Because I've found gas lines with a shovel that we were about to dig through with a trencher. So, that's why I run a shovel for 6 hours today, is because I don't want to die by hitting a gas
Yeah.
line. 1-inch
Yeah,
gas
exactly.
line's a frag grenade. Anything over a 1-inch gets bigger. So, standing next to a 1-inch gas line, when it goes boom, you got a chance of losing something. Not counting
yeah.
what it's going to do to the machine, or all that stuff. Yeah, that's one of the things that are not as much fun about my job, is you never know what's going to happen, but risk you take. And that's how it goes.
Mhm.
That's why I run a shovel. Like I said, I like to find the issue with a shovel instead of a big machine that can't tell you, oh, hey, I think we're about to hit something.
Yeah. This doesn't feel right.
Yeah, this doesn't feel right. That machine just cuts right through it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like I said, the people who's the gas companies in charge of marking that stuff. On the really, really big stuff, they're good because they send out like 2 operators that are like highly certified to do that type of thing. But all the small in-town stuff, it's your standard rum-dum that half the time doesn't even know what he's doing. It's like, oh, so I follow with my little meter and I swipe left to right and I think it's right here, so I'm just gonna kind of shh. And it's like, well, did you check 5 feet to the left where the other one was? Because we got to go there too. Did you check that there's another line coming from across the yard? They're pretty bad about that. So yeah, it's not cool.
Yeah.
But when that happens, they're liable. So like, let's say we hit a gas line and nobody gets hurt, but our trencher gets blown up. They're liable. Like, we called, we did our job. We said we are going to dig from here to here, and we need to know where the safe spots are. And it's like, all right, you're all safe. All right, we take off digging. Boom. Clearly, it wasn't safe. And again, it falls on their insurance.
Yeah. So one of the
There's a lot
big
of fun
things
stuff.
going on right now is the silicon shortage. A lot of people have been, I don't know if you guys follow like graphics cards and computer components and all that.
I heard something about that because, hey, that's so interesting you bring that up. We actually had a big control computer for a hog confinement feed system that we couldn't get the motherboard box for because of this thing. So continue. Or they're having a really hard time getting them.
Yeah, semiconductors.
Yeah, the semiconductors and the silicon chips and stuff like that are going to be, the thing with the graphics cards is that they're saying people were thinking that there was a shortage, but it had to do with the fact that on the graphics cards, at least, everybody was buying all of them up at the beginning of the year because now they had people had outdated computers. They needed to upgrade the graphics cards. They had to buy a new computer because they'd be working from home a lot more. So these graphic card companies, they have to guess what their sales are going to be for the next year. So off of those projections is what they place their orders for their silicon chips for like the graphics cards, the motherboards, refrigerators, all this stuff. So all these companies put in their orders for these chips. Now they got all the chips they ordered, but their sales were over what they were expecting. So now everybody's trying to play catch up with it, and it's going to take some people are saying it could take up to 2 years. We won't see like the thing to start leveling out till sometime in not next year, but the year after. Because companies are ramping up. You got Samsung is putting in additional facility in the United States. Forget what the other company was. There's a couple of companies that are in that business that actually, there's only like 3 companies I think that actually make the component portion of it, and then they distribute it out. So those companies there have to expand their business, their facilities in order to make more chips to kind of catch up. So for a while, we're going to see this dip in availability, of all these kind of things, refrigerators, anything that has some kind of computer chip component, which nowadays pretty much everything. They could open up everything up to 100%, but because of the way the demand has already killed the supply, like these companies, I think it's three. It's either two or three. I can't remember now. I forget what. I was watching a couple different videos on it, but they usually operate at 80% capacity, and then they're down 20% of the time, so that they can clean the machines, do all that stuff, reset everything. And now they're trying to jump it up to I think 90% or something, but it's just efficiency wise, there's not enough room for them to do anything without actually building facilities. So you got
Okay.
companies that are going to be building facilities. There's two companies that I think that said they're going to be building facilities in the United States to kind of ramp up a little bit more of the production.
Oh, dang, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so I got to dig deeper on it. I just watched the videos last night, but it all the semiconductors and all that stuff.
So you're gonna get yourself some semiconductor stocks?
Yeah, so I'm thinking, but it's I don't know
Demand's gonna be
because
through the roof, dude.
yeah, but the demand's already been there. I think most of the people have already picked up everything they want. I think graphics cards, in my opinion, are gonna level out in the next. Like you're gonna see like the 3090s, the brand new stuff will probably get scalped. But I think like everything else is just gonna start. I mean, you're already seeing like the prices. I looked at the 2080s and the 3080s and stuff like that, and the prices are already starting to come down to what retail would normally approximately be at. Um, so I just don't know. And even looking at like even like Nvidia's stock, it's not really going anywhere. You know, I just didn't see anything that was really indicative of that. Maybe something with those, but see, there's only three companies that are making the silicone. I think it's two or three. I'm pretty sure it's three. So I just don't see I don't see anybody else going, okay, we're gonna build an infrastructure. Like Apple started making their own chips for their phones now, so they have their own. You know, they're starting to take some of that production away, because Apple and most companies buy from Samsung generally. That's like the big company that sells most of these silicon products to these companies is Samsung.
Oh,
So your iPhone has Samsung products in it. Your refrigerator has Samsung products, chips in it, whether it be just one processing chip or maybe a RAM memory or whatever. Um, so it'll be interesting to see like what comes out of it. But I think it's going to be like a couple of years before we see like the big stuff, the brand new stuff come down in price. New refrigerators, things like that.
Yeah, those semiconductors, I mean, they're in everything, dude.
Mhm.
Electric vehicle production is down because actually not just electric vehicles in general
In
have
general,
those
yeah.
semiconductors in
Mhm.
them. I mean, it's across many different industries beyond just the gaming industry. So, yeah, you're right that the 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 supply is not going to catch up with the demand anytime soon.
Yeah.
Um, on top of that, you've got there's talks right now that when the economy is opening back up, one of the biggest struggles that is going to be faced is supply chains. Supply chains have been uh, gutted since all the lockdowns started, and
Mhm.
to get those supply chains back up to the efficiency that it was before, that shit's going to take some time.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. It's not gonna you know it's not gonna happen anytime soon. I
I mean,
mentioned the
even
stock
took the
thing.
simplest cars.
I
You know.
mentioned the stock things with the semiconductors, in my opinion, and this is not financial advice. Just my opinion, but like right now, if people do believe that, um, that semiconductors have a very big future ahead, whether that be in the next year or 2 years, like those stocks have been shorted to death right now because of the fact that short sellers knew that they can get away with that type of stuff. Like it's the same reason they shorted the GameStop. It's the same reason they shorted so many other retail because once COVID started, they knew that their numbers were going to go down, so they're going to make money off of the numbers going down. So They bring the price down as far as they can. Like if people are going to invest in something, what's the basic rule of investment? Buy low, sell high.
So high, yep.
And right now it's like now's the buy low time, and the people that are brave enough to buy when something is super low are the ones that make out like bandits. The people that always lose in the stock markets are the ones that are afraid and they say, well, I'm going to wait a little bit. I want to make sure that it's going to go up. And then it goes up 10%. And they're like, yeah, it looks like it's doing good. And then it goes up 20%. They're like, all right, I'm in now. And then it drops 10% after that because prices
Everybody
go in
jumped
waves
in.
like that. Yeah, and they get freaking, what do they say? It's bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered. Bulls are people that are um, are anticipating a rise in a stock and they'll buy at the lowest price possible, anticipating that the stock is going to go up. Bears are the opposite. They anticipate the stock price going down, so they put themselves in a position to be able to sell before that price goes down. Pigs are the ones that they don't buy low, they don't sell high, they do the opposite. And it's funny because if you think about it, it's kind of backwards thinking with anything else that we purchase in life. Like when in life let's say you buy a car for $10,000 and then it goes down in value to $2,000 2 weeks later, so you sell it. Like nobody would do that. No, you keep the freaking car, man. Like why would you lose $8,000 right away? Like that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But when it comes to stocks, it's like shit, that price is going down. I better sell it. Like it's funny, man. It's just the emotions kill people in the market. That's why I think they estimate like 70% of people that invest in stocks don't make money in it because of that fact right there. So like me, I plan on getting into some semiconductor stocks because I see where it's headed, man. It's a good opportunity to make some money.
I gotta look into the companies that are doing it. Just to see.
Yeah, there's a AMD. What's the other big one?
Nvidia.
Yeah, Nvidia.
Those are the guys that are just handing them out though. They're not actually on the production side. So
yeah,
they're buying those semiconductor and silicon products. There's actually a company that actually makes they're called wafers. The actual product itself. I just can't remember the friggin' name of it. I gotta find the video and look it up.
It's like NMD or something like that, or I forget. I have to look it up. NNDM, Nano Dimension. That's one of the ones that people are really big on right now. They're a manufacturer of it, but there's also a ETF, which is a group of stocks.
Okay.
And that's specific to semiconductors. So that would be like buying like an index fund, but specifically for semiconductors, and that one is SMH, Van Eck Vectors Semiconductor ETF. So that's an ETF that's more expensive, but it's just like any other ETF or index fund. It's a long play. It's not something that you're going to see 20% gain in the next month. It's something that you hold on to for years, and a couple years down the road, it's worth 50% more.
Heck yeah.
Pretty cool stuff.
You guys see those tornadoes down in like Alabama?
No.
Yeah.
It's bad.
One of my clients was down around there and said his flight was all screwed up. He was flying out of Atlanta, so I guess a bunch of stuff was screwed up because of the tornadoes that were somewhere around that area.
Yeah,
they shut everything down.
There was a whole bunch of them in no time at all. There's like a dozen tornadoes or something. I think I saw. It's wild.
Oh,
'tis the season.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we had some really bad wind yesterday, and it was very windy beforehand. Now it's just barely even blowing. I mean, it was really windy this morning too.
Yeah, we're pretty windy here.
It's just raining. a little bit.
We're always windy.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. we're at. I mean, it's like a wind tunnel from the north or from the south. And honestly, the east. I mean, it's just flat. It's flat ground around here, so it's a lot of wind. My buddy lives up in Wisconsin. He came down to Missouri for a funeral for his grandpa, and he's like, "Man, I can't believe how much wind you guys have down here." He's like, "It's just so windy." I was like, I guess I don't really notice it, but up in Wisconsin, he's up there in them hills, and there's a lot more. There's a lot more big hills and stuff, and so the air currents are a lot different than they are around here, apparently. But he spent a couple weeks down here, and he's like, "It's just super windy down there. It was like windy the whole time I was here. Maybe it's just spring." You know, I know in the summer when it's really hot, we don't have that wind. It's just dead. Out there running that shovel, and it's just dead.
So it's been a few weeks now since you came down with COVID and have tested negative for it and stuff. How's your smell and your taste coming along?
I would say smell I'm starting to notice is coming back a little bit more. My taste has been doing a lot better recently. I remember like a week ago or so, I started being like I ate some soup and a grilled cheese, and it was just super salty. And like I put some lime in it, and I was like, wow, oh. I was like, I can taste it. I was like, I can actually taste it. Went to B-Dubs there, a week after I got my negative test, and got fried pickles and mango habanero hot wings with ranch. And the only thing I could taste was maybe like 5% of the ranch I could actually taste, like just the tiniest little hint. But I couldn't taste any of the chicken. It was just all texture. Fried pickles, all texture. I mean, it is what it is.
So now you're about ready to give
back.
it another go. Let's see if you can taste it a little bit more.
I'm really kind of wanting to go to B-Dubs.
Just for the sake of science, if I can,
Yeah, for the sake of science. Not like I want to just give me some of the mango habanero and jam and jalapeno hot wings.
But I just want to see how much it's grown in a few weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, science.
Yeah.
Science.
I had French toast this morning, and it was I didn't want to say anything to my wife because I didn't want to hurt her feelings, but they tasted. I don't know if it's because my taste is actually coming back, but they were kind of. She left something out, like she didn't put the vanilla in, or something happened. Like they were just they're kind of like bitter French toast, and who wants to eat bitter French toast? I mean, like the syrup was there to sweeten it, but I don't know where exactly she went. It didn't matter. I had like 5 of them. I just wolfed them down really quick. That's all I've been doing. Everything just texture for the most part. So it's changed the way I eat. That's for sure. Now that I'm actually gonna be able to start tasting food again, I'm gonna get a little bit more excited about that. But fun fact, like we're just working so much right now, and it gets so busy in the spring, we don't really have time to take breaks. So I had my wife pick me up some hot Cheetos the other day. There's a lot of different versions of hot Cheetos. Did you guys realize how many different versions there is?
Oh yeah.
There's
I only know one flaming hot.
Yeah, so we'll start with flaming hot. There's like flaming hot, and then it gets to like the puffy flaming hot ones. And then it goes into the extra flaming hot Cheetos, which is like a black and red bag. Yeah, man, I got it right here. Check this shit.
I have seen that. I have seen that for sure. He's
you know why?
He ran to get those.
I was just
Do you know why
standard? There's your
Flamin'
standard flaming hot right there. And then
I'm having a
here's the
flashback.
extra flaming hot.
Yeah, I have seen
That's like
that.
a black,
That's a new
black
one.
and orange.
Yeah.
And then she got me these. These are awesome. They're lime flavored extra hot Cheetos. Oh my goodness. So I guess I'm getting my mouth's just watering right now looking at all these. But I pack my lunch every day, just like a cold ham sandwich or a cold chicken sandwich. And this is literally like the only thing that makes that doable, because sandwiches like that get so unbearable.
Yeah.
Just eating them day in, day out. But I'm telling you, man, if you're into hot Cheetos and you just wolf down some hot Cheetos with that sandwich, it makes it a million times better.
Hell yeah, man. I get it.
I have 5 bags of that size of hot Cheetos on my shelf, and they're going to be gone within 2 weeks. I guarantee it. Like, I eat the crap out of those things.
The reason Frito-Lay is always putting in flaming hot and spicy flavors is because their research and development department is in Texas. So everything down there is all spicy and
This is mac and cheese, by the way.
oh yeah.
Mhm.
Flaming hot mac and cheese.
Yeah, I've
This is
seen
the-
what they do to make
Oh,
that.
man.
I seen a video this chick had put on how to make that, where they took the mac and cheese and they took the flaming hot Cheetos and they crushed it up in a bag with like a mallet or something, crushed it all up, and poured it in the mac and cheese.
Mhm.
That's funny.
It says with this stuff, it just says take the flaming hots like straight out of the bag and pour it in with the mac and cheese right before you eat it. Right way you got the crunch from them and then these. It all depends on what you're into. And this type of stuff, this is white people hot. I'm used to eating Mexican hot. I'm eating with my family and everything. So I'm telling you, my wife's mom makes some hot sauce that I don't know what seeds are in it, but it's a ton of like different types of pepper seeds. And it's a red sauce. And the center of your tongue, if you get it on the center of your tongue, will feel like it's melting in half. Like
Oh sure.
very bad pain. But it tastes delicious.
It's a red sauce?
and
Is it
I love
adobo?
it. I think so, but it's like she makes it at home, and it's
Mhm.
it puts some hair on your chest.
Oh
That's
yeah.
for sure. Whoa, woof! But I love it. Dude, just talking about all this hot food is making me sweat. It's awesome. Ready to eat some hot food. Oh,
I know I like eating a lot of hot, spicy stuff too.
it's actually good for you. So
I just figure it keeps the bowel
Not
movements
too much.
moving. You know.
they say it's really good for your heart and stuff to eat spicy food. The acid in the spicy food kind of helps like clear the oh man, what is the plaque buildup in your heart and your valves and stuff? Like it helps, not tremendously, of course, but enough to where I heard it on radio one time. It talked about people who eat spicy foods like have like a 5% better chance of avoiding heart disease, or I don't know. I'm not going to look it up and Google it right now, but I know that there's a correlation between spicy food and your health, and it's actually good for you. Like drinking a glass of wine is good for you. Drink 5 bottles a day, probably not as good for you, but like glass of wine, like things in appropriate amounts are good for you.
Oh yeah.
You guys played any
Yeah.
any new games lately at all? Anyone? Nothing new.
Not new, but I got back
Same
into
old, man.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
I remember
Heck
watching
yeah.
you play that
I got the music going again. Science.
in the helicopter.
hmm Yeah, I switched to, because you can have the music playing in the helicopter when it comes to pick you up. It's got a speaker, and you hear the helicopter coming, and it's blasting the music. So I switched from Blinded Me with Science to Billy Idol, Rebel Yell. With a rebel yell, she cried more, more, more. Yeah, dude. I don't know why. It's so awesome, man. Like you get done with a mission and you got to call a helicopter, and it's like you're coming down from, like, man, that was tough. And all of a sudden,
White
like
knuckles.
you just hear it off in the distance,
Wiping
like it's
sweat
coming
off.
in, like fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, it's an awesome game, man. I enjoy it. I think that was Hideo's last game with
That's Metal
Konami.
Gear. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of white knuckle game experiences, I'll tell you what, a lot of these competitive / tournament games we've been playing in Rocket League, even a lot of the casual games, you'll hear Jamie talking about how it's, hey Ty, you just need to breathe, buddy.
Just
Oh,
breathe.
yeah. I think we
He's
had
not-
like a 45-second defense the other day where Jamie and I both were like holding our breath the whole time.
Ty's like,
it was very
Jamie,
intense.
breathe, bro, breathe. I'm like, I'm trying. Well, you know what sucks is I set out a goal, and I said I was going to get all of the challenges of season 4 done. Or this season, I think it's technically season 2 or whatever, but at the stage 4. So one of the things you have to do in stage 4 is you have to get 70 competitive wins.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I need 30 more between
We haven't
now
been
and
playing casual
Wednesday.
for like a while.
Jesus Christ.
Well,
There was a time that
we can
wouldn't have
get
been a
some of those done
problem.
here this afternoon.
Oh yeah, when we're done here, that's what I'm doing. If anyone wants to join us, just saying, hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But yeah, because we used to play a lot of a competitive, but we started playing casual just to avoid lag issues and other things. And then of course, just really focusing in on the game again and playing it for fun and
Yeah.
whatever. But
Learning aerials.
man, we went on a slaughter fest the other night though, didn't we, Ty? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, dude, we probably
Oh,
lost. We probably lost like 4 games, maybe 5 games.
that's like three
But
or
we
four
had, but
games.
we had like 20, 25 wins between
Oh, dear.
uh,
Oh,
competitive. What was the other one we played? Snowy Day or was it Rumble? Snowy
yeah,
Day.
we were playing Snowy Day. We were playing a little hockey.
Oh my goodness,
Oh, that's so much fun.
dude, we were putting in that work. We were just like, wow. We literally felt bad. I got up to gold. I started, that night somewhere down like Division 3, 2 or 3 or something, and then
Yeah.
I got up to gold. Ty got it. He's almost to gold again. Um, yeah, it was just funny because one night we just went on a slaughter fest. It was so funny. Like all
Oh,
Ty's been focusing on is aerials, and he's doing like some of the most dirty aerials I've seen people do, just because he'll like come down, jump off the wall, hit the ball. He'll like do one whole rotation around it, like the moon following the earth, and then he'll like karate chop it at the last second. And then when he does it, in miraculously he'll like curve. It'll go right and then swing around the guy. It's just crazy. Watching
That's
his
awesome.
aerials is funny. When it slow motions him for the goal, it's just like, wow, you did all that right there.
That's awesome.
oh,
Like,
that's
wow.
I just love Jerry. Jerry said it best when he talked about it's the simplest game and it's the most complex game that you'll play at the same time because everything changes. You can literally just go in there, hit the ball, try to get it in the net, and win or lose. Then you can go in there and try to hit the ball not how you normally would hit it, but maybe with like your rear end. And maybe the ball needs to go that way. So you need to do a little twist as you're hitting it with your rear end. And learning how to do all that stuff in combination while trying to, predict what the other people are going to do is how I'm really going down the old Rocket League rabbit hole. And one of the other guys that used to play with Jamie and I a lot got really into it for a few weeks and then just like I'm tired of the game, I don't want to play it anymore. And that's when I was like coming out of my super goalie phase and starting to get into my aerial phase. And it's both. We sit there and we just keep rotating the whole time.
Oh yeah,
I
man.
go,
We'll
I'm
get
ready for Jamie and Jamie's
we'll
ready for
we'll
me.
both
And
have like 4 saves.
oh,
3, 4
what?
saves
Hey,
a game.
tell me about the
Uh,
game the other
I
night.
know
So
which one you're talking about. Here, let me pull up this picture here. So we
yeah,
we
you
were
gotta show them.
playing the other
Oh,
night as a 3 piece, and we were going on a pretty big bender of just street raping fools.
oh,
So I don't know if you're gonna be able to read it. Probably not. All right, so I'll read it to you.
click on.
So the game was 7-2. It was Jimmy Vaughn, me, and Ty. Jimmy's score was 592. Mine was 485, and Ty's was 437. Goals: 3, 3 and 1. Assists: 1, 0 and 3. Saves: 0, 0, 0. Shots. Jimmy had 8 shots. I had 4 shots, and Ty had 4 shots.
Jesus Christ.
They had 2 saves. So we had some hot balls going, that's for sure. But 16
Oh yeah,
shots between the three of us in one game, and it was like that pretty much the whole evening. It
yeah.
was
It
super
was
That's
just
fun.
awesome.
insanity. Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah,
I have so much
Yeah,
fun with the game.
Ty, um, that was from a review that I kind of gave you that info from, and I agree with it, man. Like the 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 amazing thing about the game is the the level that you can just continue to progress, that you can continue to learn and get better is it's almost unlimited, man. Like you think that you're good at something and then you see somebody else do something that you've never done and you're like, shit, I need to figure that out. I can't think of a game that has an unlimited learning curve like that one. Like I said, it's such a simple game, but the learning curve on it, it's limitless. Like, so how many other games do you play once you figure it out? Like, you're done with the game. Like, there's nothing more to learn from it. I already know that I got to jump at this specific time, or I already know that this boss is going to do these specific things, and like I know exactly like what they're going to do. Um, this just completely turns it on its head, man. It's like you're never as good as you think you are, man. There's always somebody a little bit better, and then you learn from that person, and then all of a sudden you think that you're the shit, and then somebody else comes along that's a little bit better, and it's like, holy cow, I got to figure out how to do that. I once I read that, I was just like, yes, like that, like that's exactly why I found this game to be so unique and so special. That is because of that. Like I've played so many games where once you figure the shit out, it's like it's game over. Like you're gonna rape every single time that you play the game.
And it's not as much fun, like that's
Yeah.
like what you're saying. I mean, like you feel like a hot shot. I'll feel good. I'll get confident. I'll know that we're doing good. And then we move up a tier, and the very next team that comes in is on a losing streak from being up tiers higher than us, and they're mad. And they throw some gameplay at us that's very humbling, and it's like, wow. And I mean, it just comes down to like the better players don't miss. When they touch the ball's going where they want it to go. And they know exactly when to hit it just about every single time. Like I'm getting my timing better. I have lag that throws me off a little bit, but my lag issues are not as bad as they were a couple months ago. But it's literally watching them, they don't miss. It's all just tap, 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 tap. You go to do a shot, that dude's jumping up just in time to where he's gonna block the shot and just like ricochet it over your head. That's one thing I've been practicing a lot, trying to like match those things. But yeah, like you're saying, it's just constant. You build up and then you get mashed down, and then you start building up again, and then you get mashed down. And I mean, you're climbing tiers, but you're facing people that just keep putting you down and making you learn, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah, and then you add the different game types to it, and that's a whole nother curveball. Like you said, you guys were playing the hockey.
Yeah.
Like you're not doing the flying in hockey. The puck is on the ground all the time. Well, I mean, not as much as you're not doing aerial. You're not doing aerial goals
like
Yeah,
as
it's
much.
more rubber on the ground.
And then you got the breakout type game. I forget what it's called, but where it's got to hit the
Rumble.
No,
where it's got to hit the ground.
drop shot.
Yeah, drop. Yeah, I don't know if it's called drop shot. Yeah, maybe it's drop shot, but yeah, that's awesome too. Like there's just so many. The gameplay on that is unlimited, man. It's insane. You'd be hard pressed to find a game that has more unlimited gameplay than that, where there's something new to experience every single time that you play it. Even the best role playing games that they do the greatest job, like they have a limit to them. You're eventually going to get to that point where you've experienced everything and there's nothing more to do on it. It's cool shit, man. It's a great game.
On a positive note of Rocket League, sometime this year they're releasing their mobile game called Rocket League Sideswipe.
Oh wow!
I'm not a mobile game player at all, but I would play that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I could
sounds very interesting.
I could sit at work on my lunch break. Just breathe, Ty. Just breathe, Ty.
Well, no. I'm not pulling that up. I was gonna show you. I was gonna pull up my mobile game, but for whatever reason, it's not one to load.
Well, which one you play?
It's RuneScape. There it goes.
Mobile.
It's starting to load in now. Wow, man, that glare is terrible.
I remember sitting there playing Call of Duty, and Ty would be playing both games at the same time and still slaughtering people. I'm like, come on, man, this is bullshit.
But that's because this game's AFK. Like there's so much stuff. There's stuff you can do that's just like Rocket League. You got 3 fingers on your hotkeys, F1, F2, F3, to switch between your inventories and spell books and stuff like that. and to do like gear switches, and all sorts of stuff. It's an old timey based, like medieval based kind of game. It's RuneScape. I mean, it's been around since 1999.
Um,
So
do you guys
yeah,
see
it's
on
fun.
Apex Legends that they're going to be dropping a new character that calls in a Titan? They think.
What?
There
No,
was
I
some
don't.
type of a teaser or something they had posted, and people were saying it says. Do you remember in Titanfall where it says? I can't remember how it's the way it was worded. Call in Titan or whatever with the little down arrow. Well, that's what they
Mhm.
have for the new character in Apex. I'm like, really?
Man, I
That's
missed that game
That
so
would
much.
be
We had so much fun on there.
Titanfall. Oh yeah,
Titanfall 2, we had a just absolute blast on. I wish more people, well, there were so many other games out at the time. Titanfall 2 just picked a terrible time to release. If they had been earlier, they'd have been great. Like they would have had so many more customers, I feel like. But you try to release the same time as Call of Duty and Battlefield 1, which took the world by storm. That game was absolutely awesome. Titanfall 2 was a blast, but Battlefield 1 was just wow. I love that game. Is very, very extensive. Yeah.
Titanfall. Man, we played that
I don't know.
game a long
Titanfall
time.
was. Oh
TJ
man, I
always
love that
calling in
Ronin.
the tone.
That Ronin was my.
Yeah, especially when you
Remember
could
that one
like
game, Jamie?
explode your
so they
Titan.
nerf so they nerf tone into the fucking ground.
They nerfed everything into the
They
ground.
nerfed it all. They
Except
changed the
Starting
for
whole
with the
game.
AWOL.
except for what's her name? Samurai one there. What the hell's her
Oh,
name?
Ronin.
no,
Ronan, yeah.
No,
North. Oh yes, Ronan, North Star,
North Star
Ion,
was really good too.
uh,
That was a fun
the
game.
flamethrower one. I remember when Rage was using that one for quite a bit.
Yeah,
Scorch.
they nerfed both the things that I loved using. The cloak and tone.
Yeah.
Like you sons of
As
bitches.
soon as they nerfed the AWOL, it was like, all right, well, I'm done
Double fucking whammy.
That AWOL was disgusting
with the
because it made your
Devastator
bullets
or whatever.
do more.
Devotion,
Oh, with the Devastator.
the
Oh, jeez,
devotion,
he threw
yeah.
that AWOL down.
You
Oh
could
yeah,
just
then they
sit
they nerfed my gun, they nerfed my ability, and they nerfed my Titan. They were like, "Fuck you."
Oh, we used to
But
just
see,
slaughter
and why
people.
did they even do it? They had like an average of 6,000 players playing the game at a time. You know what I mean? They might have had 50,000 people that bought the game and were playing, or more that bought it. But when we were playing, we would face. I remember specifically, like we had a handful of people that we would constantly run into because they were just in our
Same
area or
server, yeah.
whatever, and they would constantly match them up with us. And like yeah, like it was ridiculous. I mean, we had a lot of fun on that game, and then they did cross-platform. They added cross-platform in, and I remember when they did it because we were playing on one of the maps that had like angels on big angel statues like up in the
Oh yeah,
air,
yeah,
and
yeah.
the dude used a grapple. He was on mouse and keyboard, and he was George of the Jungling through the map like this. And every time he did a loop, he would go up in the air with a 3-round burst rifle and just anybody that he targeted was dead immediately.
The hemlock.
Yep.
I, Hemlock, yeah. TJ, you were with me on that one for sure because I remember me
Yeah.
and you were getting extremely upset at that guy. And then he's like, "Good game." No, I think we had a whole party.
Wasn't
Of
that
people.
board called Angel
Jamie, you were
City?
probably there.
Angel City, yeah, I think it
That
was.
sounds
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It was like a half lit, kind of cloudy day. It was like a bright day, but kind of there were some clouds up in the sky. Had a really cool. There was like a center area, and then it wrapped clear around to the back of their spawn on both sides. And both backs of the spawns were pretty wild. And I always loved extractions, especially with that scorcher, because I'd shoot that gas canister up
And then it
into
hit it, and then
the
everybody would catch on
the
fire.
vehicle.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh
blow
yeah.
up the evacuation with that thing.
Dude, that
It
game
was
was so
fun.
much fun. Remember those montages we used to make of teabagging people?
Oh yeah, oh those were so much fun.
Knock down those big giant titans, walk up to them. Just
All the executions were just so awesome on that game. That was one of their better parts of that game.
Oh,
I remember
yeah.
the phase. Remember when they released the phase into people execution, where you could
oh
sneak up on them
yeah,
and phase in them and
yep.
just like
Explode
explode.
Yeah,
them
because
out.
One was
that was the ability I went to after they nerfed the cloak.
yeah.
I did start using phase.
Yeah, that
Phase
game.
with an
It'd always be so
R99.
fun.
R99 fast gun.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
R90,
You always
R9?
you always use the bare bones one.
The 301 or not
301.
301.
Yeah.
It's 300. I forget what it was. It's the 301
Was that the assault
in.
rifle?
S.
It's a 301 in Apex Legends.
I remember using ion and like catching all them bullets and throwing them back, and
Yeah.
then taking that little thing. It was like the scorpion shot, just like out the back. People would go up in the air when they eject them, like, okay, there he is.
Oh,
Boom.
yeah. Boom. Oh, dude, I forgot about that part right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you could laser people out of the sky when they did that.
Oh,
With my
yeah.
giant
Oh.
laser. Blast them out that
That thing
big
was hard to
giant.
hit too.
Oh, that ion was. Oh my god! I remember I got a Mountain Dew decal from a bunch of the Mountain Dew can
Yeah.
cases, and then somebody remember at that time somebody went to Walmart because they had them on the outside of the package or something. Do you remember that? And they took all of them from like one of the WalMarts. Just loading the barcode or something.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah, that game was so much fun. Titanfall.
Yeah, it was the
Oh,
R201 and the R97. Those was the
oh,
submachine
yeah.
gun was the 97, and the 201 was the.
That's right. I remember that.
R9.
As soon as you said submachine gun, that lined up. I could remember that.
Yeah, they had
Oh,
like the
I
L
gotta take a leak
Star,
though.
the EPG. Remember that big bulky thing that like had to charge up to shoot? I think they have that in Apex now, don't they? That EPG gun. Oh no, they have like the L Star or something in Apex now. I think.
Yeah, it's Well, they just brought the Volt over.
Volt. Yeah, that was.
They got
good
the
enough.
alternator. That's in there. Spitfire's there. The L Star is the other one they brought over. They got the Kraber, the longbow, the Mastiff, the EV8 shotgun. You don't have the rocket launchers, like the grenade launchers. I mean,
Mm-hmm. I remember
They
when they
don't have
nerfed
those.
those down. Ugh, that was a bummer.
Mm.
Because you'd sit there and you'd get knocked out of your Titan, and then you just sit there and just shoot him with the grenade launcher over and over and over and over again, no matter how big of a Titan it was. Ba, 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 ba,
I think
ba,
it was
ba, ba.
I think it was the car submachine gun was the one I was using. I think that was the one I used to use.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Man, we
They
used to
had-
just play the snot out. Then we played Destiny 2, grinded on that. I haven't played it yet. In gosh, probably at least a year. I thought about installing it because now they have it for free on all the platforms. Thought about installing it on the PC, but I'm like, I don't know. I think
Another
I
game.
have to start all over because of
I'd
my.
actually like to start all over, man. I felt that once you got like done with the story and everything, it just kind of sucked after that.
Well, and in
Like
that
you're
game,
basically just
Grinding,
playing
yeah.
for grinding for loot. Like
true.
hope for a loot drop one time that you play it for 4
Yeah.
hours. Like it,
Well, do you remember the thing
Okay.
about that game is that it had like so many maps, and then every mission was on the same maps over and over and over and over again, and it's just like, then we already.
Well,
do
they've
this
redone
like
it
9
too. They got
times.
rid of a bunch of maps. They
Yeah,
got rid of the water one, that water planet.
oh yeah. There was nothing on that anyways. It
was,
was
yeah.
so pointless. Like it was so cool. Like the first time you got on that planet, I was like, wow, this is awesome. And then it was just like, yeah, okay, there's nothing more on here. Like, all right,
Yeah.
great. And then that I think it was the first DLC they had for that was the Osiris one.
Mhm.
That was horrible, dude. They
Oh,
just
yeah,
had you
yeah.
keep going through the same freaking.
It
They
was
just kept
tiny.
recycle the same map over and over and over.
I ended up
again.
playing it not too long ago, and I was on that before they got rid of the water plant. I spent like all day on that planet just because I had to farm stuff, and it was just stupid little missions. Just wasn't fun. I just didn't have a good time with it. So I was like, I don't know if I want to.
Yeah, it had so much potential that just went to waste, man. I don't know. I don't know what they were
Thing
thinking with
is, you
that.
can't start off at 0 anymore.
No.
No, when you go in, it starts you off a new character at a certain level, at a base level, because they have to power scale you up to be able to play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if not, everybody else will just be able to own you. So they try to make it fair because
Mhm.
everything's got to be fair. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel that was kind of like that game. What the hell was it called? I don't even Warframe. Oh man, I
Mhm.
remember it was actually at the time that went to Ron's wedding. I was playing Warframe. Um, I had just started right after that playing Warframe and um, got really into it. And Lilo, him and I got on and were playing for a while, and he was hooking me up with like different skins and stuff like that for like the different components to make different Warframe, you know, suits or whatever they're called in the game. But same thing is like you play it so long and then it's like, okay, well, now what? So
Mhm.
yeah, maybe starting over probably would be the best way to go about that game in particular.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if you can play any of the original content.
Really?
Oh wow.
I don't know. I don't know what they took away. I mean, they took away some planets, so I don't see how.
Yeah, so like opening up the farm or whatever.
Yeah, how are you going to play through the story if planets are missing? You know?
Yeah.
Unless they're like, this is an alternate reality, Destiny.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
understand how they
Yeah.
did that.
It's like the new Star Trek.
So I mean,
That's the problem with services. Games as a service when they go on too long, because the reason they had to get rid of some of the content was because they needed to make room for other things. And they just don't have, like, they can't just keep expanding, expanding, expanding. It's just too much stuff. So they reworked things. They got rid of weapons and armor. They got rid of all kinds of different stuff. But or at least they got rid of the ability to get it. If you had it already, you still have it.
Oh, that's
But
nice.
they got rid of like the ability to get it again. So
Hmm.
yeah.
So if you lose it, it's gone. What I'm hearing.
Yeah, so if well, they have a thing in the vault, I think, that even if you've deleted it from your vault, you can still you can recraft it as long as you've unlocked it. So you can
Oh,
always have it.
well, at least
So like if
that's
you went and
helpful.
you so if you went like if I went and um, broke down a weapon, I can craft another one with I think pretty similar stats to what I had. Pretty close stats to what I had within a point or two. They don't want to like totally break the RNG of it, but you can go in and recreate that weapon.
there's a
Pretty interesting.
there's a
Didn't realize
game. I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. I just remembered
you're good.
that Hunt Showdown or whatever you were talking about, Ty.
Yeah.
That game on Steam is $20. It's 50% off to anybody that remembers that conversation. Did you ever hear of that game, Rasta? Hunt
No.
Showdown.
Hunt Showdown? No.
Yeah.
1895 slash boss fighting type of thing in the
Yeah,
bayous of Louisiana. It's
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 like
pretty
traps and
intense because
stuff.
they have a yeah.
Is that right?
There's daytime and then there's nighttime mode. In a nighttime mode, it's like a Resident Evil game where like you're walking around with like a pistol and a flashlight. I mean, you literally got like a like a little clip-on flashlight on you, and you hear there's three different companies that went together for the sound engine on that game. And if you like zombie games, you will be terrified by the sounds you hear in this game. Like you're walking across, like walking around a house. There's like broken glass all over the place and like chains hanging off of stuff. So like you'll hear those chains getting bumped. Like that's there's no radars or anything for people, and when you shoot people, you get a hit marker, but you don't know if you actually killed them unless you go over to where their body was and
So
check.
that's PvP
So
and PvE, right?
PVM and PvP together, yeah. Player versus monster and player versus what's the PP? What was
It's
the other thing
player
you just
versus
said?
player
The other
and
Player
thing.
versus
player
enemy,
versus
yeah,
everybody.
yeah,
Both
and
PvP.
enemy, yeah,
Everybody, okay.
Yeah.
and
Right.
enemy.
On
Player
my
versus
other
enemy.
game, I
Enemy,
always
not everybody.
Oh, same thing.
ah,
PvE is player
Yeah,
versus enemy.
Anime.
But
Yeah.
it's
But yeah, no, it's
absolutely.
but it's at the same time, so it's like you've got players in there and monsters as well.
There's only like 14 players in there though, and you can
Yeah, yeah.
choose to extract at any time, or you can choose to try to collect the boss tokens, which unlock a bunch of like stuff for your character. But here's the thing: like, is if your whole team dies, uh, then you lose your character. But if you, as long as you
Kind of like
extract your
Ark or
character,
whatever.
like it's yeah, like it's one of those like it's that's one of the downsides is like if you die, you have to create a new character, but you can get like the most basic stuff and do well with it. I don't know, like
Sometimes a
I've always
restart
had
might
fun
be
with
all
it.
you need.
Yeah, well, it's a fun game just because it's I don't know, like it's when you start the way you know that there's people around you is you hear gunshots because they're shooting zombies. But if you want to be really sneaky, you use like axes and knives, and you can like you can kill them that way. Get like a big old freaking butcher knife type thing and just be taking out zombies as you hear these other people just sniping them left and right, and then you just go sneaking up on them, and they're sitting there trying to collect the clues and the stuff to find out where the boss is, and then you just you give them the old sneaky surprise attack. And again, like if you just hear a lone gunshot and that gunshot took out your partner doesn't get to look around to figure out where the gunshot came from. Like it's there's so many different things that will give you away though. Like there's a little flock of crows that are just like sitting at the edge or sitting on top of a house or around a dead horse, and you go walking up, scares the crows away, and then the horse is like a zombie horse, so it's like making noises and stuff, and it's all proximity based.
Yeah.
You'll hear dogs barking because you walk past a dog kennel, so like you hear all these things in the game. Like I said, 3 sound engines in this game. It is insane. Like you wear headphones and you play this game, you don't want to have the night mode, and you definitely don't want to play it in the dark if you're not into that type of stuff because it's intense.
That sounds good.
It's fun. It's definitely worth watching, like the 2-minute trailer or whatever.
Yeah, I'm watching it now.
It's interesting.
It looks pretty cool.
It's
Yes,
pretty
sir.
interesting, yeah.
I know. I added it to my wish list on Steam, and the other day I was at work and my Steam app started blowing up. I'm like, what the fuck? I look down because the Steam app never does anything on my phone, and it's like your wish list item has dropped in price. I'm like, okay, and I looked. I was like, oh shit, that's that game Ty was talking about.
It does. It like I think I bought mine for $20 as well. Like it's pretty cheap game. There's a lot that goes into it, but it's also simple. Like you can just fight zombies and level up your character that way, and like extract if you don't even want to fight somebody, or you can go in and try to collect the boss tokens. Which as soon as you go and start a boss fight, some of the bosses are really easy, but holy cow, there's this spider creature that you go into this barn, and again, broken glass everywhere, chains hanging down everywhere, and so like you're hearing this creature like running across the ceilings. It's pitch black inside this barn, and you're looking around for it, and you see this like shadow go running around the corner. You're like, hey, whoa, and then it's like, and you're like, ah! You start just like lighting it up, and no, dude, it's all. I'm telling you, like if you want a thriller game, that's the game right there because it is intense, and you'll be mid boss fighting this boss, and you can do stuff like stand because the boss can't leave the building, but as you're shooting it, there's a pillar of light that goes up that indicates to everybody else in a mile radius that you're fighting the boss, and it changes color once you kill the boss. So you have those sneaky guys that literally just wait for you to kill it.
They walk around with
I
like an
never
axe
collect
or a butcher
things
knife or something.
Yeah, and I never walk straight outside as soon as I kill it. I always hang out for a minute because you can only take 1 boss token a piece. And so if your partner's already dead, or like a lot of times people just scavenge and they'll like let you kill the boss, and then they'll be hiding in the shadows. They don't even want to fight, and they'll just go in and they'll collect their token after you've already killed the boss because it drops multiple, and you can only carry 1 of each type of boss.
Well,
There's only
what's the
2
name of
bosses
that?
per game.
What's the name of that game?
Hunt Showdown. Hunt
Showdown.
Showdown. Yeah, it's a fun game. Definitely something else. Like I don't know if it's 3 or 4 player. Can't remember. I think it's 4. Might only be 3 though.
Yeah, either
But
3 or 4 because it says
it's
the max in one game is 12. So I'm guessing nothing, no more than
yeah.
4 on a team.
Yeah.
This is Hunt Together. Year in 1895, you were a hunter tasked with eliminating the savage, nightmarish monsters that have infested the Louisiana Bayou. Play alone or in teams of 2 or 3 as you search for
Yeah,
clues to help you track your target and compete against other hunters who are after the same reward. Wow, interesting. I'm
that
looking
is
at it.
cool.
I'm like,
It's
that's $20. I'm like,
I'm watching this dude
it's
stream it right now, dude. He's like running, and while he's running, he pulls a freaking vape out.
nice.
uh,
I'm
that's
I'm
awesome.
telling you though, like it don't do the justice unless you listen to the sounds in that game. Especially when you're walking through the dark, and hellhounds are one of the most like more aggressive random monsters that is just hanging out. That's not a boss. Like they're pretty hard. They take a lot of bullets, and your guns reload slow. And so you're sitting there, and you hear freaking coming from the darkness behind you, and you're like turning around looking for the glowing eyes, and then you just like they'll just freaking swarm you. The best thing you can do is like get in a building where you can like slam the door shut, and then the whole pack will just sit there and like walk around the house, and you gotta like peek through cracks and like shoot the freaking hellhounds as they're uh, as they're like walking around the building. Uh, I only know that because I watched a guy one time running from the hellhounds go into a building, and then the hellhounds just sat there and just kept circling the shack. And he was doing exactly that. He was just shooting them, and me and my buddy went up there with fire grenades, and we just started burning the building down. He didn't have a good time. So we waited till he got one hellhound left, and then we went up to him. Again, there's a lot of people that play that game. You got to pick and choose your battles because, again, like you lose your character, you're dead. So you always want to it's kind of a tactical, but you can just run around and do crazy stuff. There's one thing I will warn you: if you do get the game, do not ever go into the water. Stay out of the water. There's creatures in the water that will ruin your experience with that game. uh, it's like I don't know, it's like some type of swamp monster kraken type of thing, and it's
Yeah,
hard to kill.
that was
Yeah,
in the
it respawns.
that was in the trailer for it. Yeah,
Trailer.
that showed that. That looked
Yeah.
pretty nasty.
Well, because it's like bayous, so there's lots of water areas, and like you can swim through the water and avoid all the zombies and people, or you can walk the planks and have to chop a couple zombies and shoot a couple people on your way. Uh, and there's a couple. I remember the first time I ever went to go cross that water, and I heard that sloshing noise coming after me. I didn't know what to do. I panicked. I started shooting and swinging and throwing fire grenades, even though I was in the water, and I just it's fun. It's a fun game.
That's awesome.
But again, as soon as me and my buddy Taylor got good at it, he was the same guy who was playing Rocket League with us. Like as soon as we got good, I think I had like a 7-kill game. We wiped everybody. Got 2 bosses killed. That was like the last night he ever wanted to play. He's like, I'm bored of that game. I'm like, dude, we just got good. Like, let's have fun with it. He's like, I'm bored of it. Let's play something else.
um, have you been playing Valheim at all?
No, I haven't been playing anything, fortunately.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I know that's still got quite a buzz going around it. I'm sure a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have been playing it still, going hard. Yeah. It's a game you got to put a lot of time into, though. You
Which is the
There's
complete
a lot of-
opposite of Rocket League.
Exactly. That's like this RuneScape game I play. I mean, it's a massive time sink. You can put 10 years of time in
he
the
just
game to
got
get all
killed.
the stuff. Oh, he got dude.
I'm watching
It's
this guy
intense.
stream it. He got
Oh.
worked.
There's still, dude, and it's a really like it came out a few years ago, and it's a really
Seriously.
underrated game. Because like it's hard. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely got a whole new pack of things that come with it. But it's fun, dude. Like you get to use like for me, I love using the old timey weapons, and I mean, depending on what you're running, like you got to find ammo for stuff too. Like if you start shooting all the zombies, that's why like melee weapons are so handy. Like if you use all your bullets on the zombies, when you go to the boss fight at the end, you don't have anything to fight the boss with. You have to go and scavenge ammo.
Oh shit.
Like if you want to switch weapons, you have to either find a hunter that was killed and you take their setup, or yeah, like you're just you're up shit creek. You go
Man,
extract if you don't like your weapon setup, you go extract.
this dude's
What's
getting
that?
crunked, man. He just took a little sip of a beer next to him too. This guy's having a little Sunday morning party.
It's
So
1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock.
so
I'm gonna
they
go
have a
grab mine
game.
as we start rocking.
They have a game on Steam for $6 called Prop Hunt. And it is prop hunt, but like the characters, like it's just like black silhouettes running around with a bunch of props. That's funny. Did you remember that? Oh, I seen Overwatch.
Well,
Was
that's
20
where
bucks on the
Prop
computer
Hunt
too.
came from for Call of Duty.
Was from that
It's from
actual
that.
game.
It's from that game.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the original game, Prop Hunt.
That's funny.
Interesting game concept. That's for certain.
Yeah, you run around with guns, and the same way as it worked in Call of Duty.
Yeah,
You go pick a item, you go pick a shape, and you go hide somewhere.
not a shape.
Well,
It
item.
could be a trash can or whatever.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's awesome.
It was fun in its own way. I
Yeah,
could never get into it.
got worked.
Yeah.
I
I enjoy to move and to do more than like it's cool, and if
Yeah.
there'd be other times when I'd be in the mood for that, but at the time when I tried prop hunt, I despised it because there was
It's better when you
lots of
do it
other
with
things.
It's better when you do it with like a small group of people that you know in like a private lobby.
That
and you,
would be different, yeah,
and
not
you,
just a whole bunch of randoms.
Yeah, and you set like ground rules like you would in like hide and seek. Like you can't just blindly spray everywhere to kill somebody. You know what I mean? Like you got to actually think they're there
Oh man, they're
to
giving
fire
away
at
Subnautica for free on PlayStation Store.
it.
Oh, jeez.
oh man, that's a.
Yeah.
It's $40 on
awesome.
Steam.
Oh, jeez. Didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, I was looking at it yesterday.
Oh,
Well, you know, I get on the computer and like sometimes I'll just like pull up Steam or pull up Epic Games and just kind of go down a rabbit hole, see if they got any new games. You know.
See what else going on.
Yeah, exactly. I always look at all these games, but I'll never have desire to get really into them because I know I won't play them. It's like every time I go to install Warzone on my computer because it's free, I get 5% download, and I'm like, I ain't gonna play it. I'd rather get on my Xbox and play Cold War, you know, than
Yeah.
Warzone.
Oh, if you guys want a cool series to watch, if you're into animation, Dota Dragon's Blood on Netflix is pretty good.
Huh. I've seen a commercial for that, or I seen that was on the thing. I almost clicked on that last night, actually. But
Yeah,
whenever I click on something that's late at night, it's like me watching the first 5 minutes. Like every time I lay down.
I watched the whole thing yesterday.
My buddy sent me a 6.5 hour long podcast the other day, and he's like, "You gotta check out this podcast, man. It's pretty awesome." And I still have yet to watch it. He's like, if you don't want to listen to the whole thing, he's like, just skip to like 3 hours, 20 minutes in or something like that. I need to. Some point here, sometime this week, I'm gonna start bit and piece in it. At least try to do like an hour a day or something like that.
It's a long ass fucking podcast. Jesus Christ.
That's a long podcast right there.
Yes,
You know?
that it is.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Oh,
sitting there committing that kind of time all the time just gets rough sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Because you're like, I got
Oh,
so
sure.
much room in the glass, you know. Too fun. But speaking of which, I guess you guys probably got to get onto some other things today. I know.
yes.
I have to get 30 competitive wins. So I will be addressing that here shortly. But yes,
I wish you
today,
guys luck with that.
episode 50
Yes, sir.
Episode 50, boys.
in the bag. Oh,
Oh.
so fun. Yeah, next week we could do earlier if you guys want again. I don't mind.
Yeah, I'll know. I'll know by this next couple of days. I'll know what's going on Sunday.
Right on,
Heck
man.
yeah.
I don't think I
Well-
want to work every Sunday at the pizza place. But
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't want to work any Sundays ever. Like 0%. But
Yeah.
that doesn't
Same
always
here.
work out, but that's the way I prefer it. I mean, if I had if I had a top three, that would be all three of them. It's not.
Not work on Sundays. Yeah, like that's a big one because when you work Saturdays, like that's I've this Saturday I didn't work, but next Saturday I'm gonna be working. I'm trying to do only like one Saturday at home a month, and the other three working, helping my dad on the farm slash doing all the other things I'm gonna be doing. You know, like mushroom hunting, mowing, all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Sunday's my big day anymore, and I really enjoy Sundays a lot. That's for sure. To do this and just kind of kick back and take the deep breath before the next week starts.
oh yeah,
Yes, Sundays I like to relax all day and do the podcast, and at night I always feel guilty, and I'm always forced to go into my room and give my pillow some head. Yeah, it's kind of an abusive relationship. My Aunt Vic told me that once. She's like, I gotta go. I love you. I gotta give my pillow some head. I'm like, what? For the dub.
What did you say?
For the dub. Yeah. Like, yeah, could you imagine that conversation? GG, Aunt Vic. What? my, how things have changed. All right. Well, with that, it's been an awesome 50 episodes. Cheers to the next 50. I know I look forward to them. I always enjoy hanging out with my friends. I always enjoy just getting to see, life a lot more focused, because I feel like I spend all the rest of the time of the week just kind of just going through the day. And then during the podcast, I have to bring it all in and just be here. And it's nice. And I enjoy it. That is what I've done to, those are things that I commit to doing, because I try to stay happy. I try to stay healthy. I try to stay focused. I do try to live my best life. And I hope that everyone else out there, no matter what you're into, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you do it well. Do it as, in moderation on certain things, because, like you said, not everything is good in excessive amount. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. As always, keep it real. We'll see you next time. Deuces.
See ya.
Deuces.